People, we are Tottenham TV, back here for yet another Tottenham update. I'm here with the one and only Brian Daigle. How are we doing, Mr. Daigle, today?
Today, brother, I'm magnificent. The sun is shining, weather is good, everything is going rosy. How is everything with you, brother?
Yeah, everything's great. Wishing all the fathers out there a happy Father's Day today.
Damn right.
Let's get to some Spurs transfer news. And we're going to start off talking about the big story of the weekend, which is obviously Sandro Tonali. We know yesterday Spurs had their opening bid knocked back of 75 million. Right now, Fabrizio Romano, his latest report, alongside Matti Moretto, says that Tottenham are prepared to put in a new bid for Sandro Tonali, which will break the £80 million barrier. Simon Jones says the Tottenham are set to increase the £75 million offer for Sandro Tonali, which was rejected as Arsenal and Manchester City monitor the negotiations. And an ITK on X, who's been quite reliable actually of late, called Heard from Spurs, says that 85 million with an option to rise to nearly 95 million if conditions are met. 250 grand per week wage. And if we get into the Champions League this season, it will rise to 280 grand a week. Spurs extremely confident that this bid will be the one that will get accepted. So, yeah, I mean, big money, man. Big money. How are you feeling about it?
I'm genuinely excited. I'm genuinely excited. We've heard this all before. How nice is it also for once to be hearing that other teams are monitoring, not the situation. It's not Tottenham monitoring a situation. What we got to remember, 75 may have been rejected, and we're saying pay the money, just pay the money like we are. This is 10 million more than our record signing. In the grand scheme of things, we all know Spurs can go and spend more, but they've meant business. They're actually putting their money where their mouth with this deal so far. I believe another bid will come through. It's clear that we are desperately trying to get this deal done. And what he brings to our game and to our team lifts us tenfold. I'm genuinely excited by it. I'm not going to get to the Morgan Gibbs White levels, ready to have my heart broken, extreme levels of giddiness, but he is a terrific footballer, will bring pure quality to this football club. I think that second bid does come in, and we're talking a lot of money here. 85 rising to 100. We're all talking about money and we want to spend it. Now we've got people saying, is that overpaying or whatever? When we're playing our midfield, we need this kind of player. And unfortunately, or fortunately, whatever way you want to look at it, they cost this amount, don't they, Ben?
Yeah, look, I do think it's an overpayment, but I'm not bothered that it's an overpayment. I think what we paid for Richarlison was an overpayment. What we paid for Solanke was an overpayment, you know. Sometimes you got to overpay to get deals done, particularly when you're negotiating with Premier League clubs. I'm delighted that we're bringing in the caliber of Sandro Tonali, Van Hecke. Van Hecke was an overpayment with 1 year left in his deal. But it's all about getting the deals over the line. And to get these deals over the line of high caliber of Sandro Tonali, one of the best midfielders in the Premier League. You know, me and Sim went through it the other day, trying to name 10 midfielders in the Premier League better than him. We you know, he's definitely in the top 10 midfielders in the Premier League. You know, massive upgrade on what we got. So I'm not bothered at all that we're overpaying. We've got the money. Let's spend it, and let's spend it on top quality. And I think that's what Sandro Tonali is. He's a massive upgrade in anything that we've got. He's a player that's coming in, you know, maybe even just before his prime, going into his prime years of his career. So I think, you know, I was discussing this with Sim as well. Is like, has there been, if we get this over the line, has there been a more significant signing in the Premier League era for Spurs than Sandro Tonali? I don't think there has been.
The two that always stand out for me when we talk about this is Van der Vaart and Klinsmann, both for two very, very different reasons. Klinsmann, obviously, because of it was just jaw-dropping that he'd come and the Premier League had just been founded, so these players were just coming in. And Van der Vaart for the deadline day and that, oh my God, where did that come from?
The thing is about those two, Brian, Klinsmann, I agree with you because he's coming just on the back of winning a World Cup.
No, yeah, 94, he was out the way. He won the 90 World Cup. But yeah, I know what you mean.
But he was a World Cup winner, right? When he Spurs. Van der Vaart, I felt like, you know, he was past his best when he came to Tottenham.
Yeah.
So, but Sandro Tonali is going into his best.
Yeah. I will say very quickly, just to touch on the Van Hecke with the overpayment. I look at it, no one's sitting here going, did Man City overpay for Matt Guehi for 25, 30 million with 6 months left on his contract? So you look at it, we're 12 months on this contract. Is it? I get that it's £52 million, but like you said on one of the updates, you chuck the Senesi and Robertson deal with 3 of them for 52.5. Then you're like, that's incredible business. You know what? Tonight, like I said, if he comes into his prime, and let's say we get Europa League football, Conference League, or even any kind of European football, win a domestic cup, that's some of the wages payback. Fee payback. We get Champions League football in a couple of years. That fee could seem like a snippet. This just looks like a massive overpayment because it's our record fee, and we are just not used to doing this. Yeah. Other big clubs go, we need a player. That's the player. That's the price. Bang.
He's not a £100 million player. He's a very, very good player, but he's not a £100 million player. But it just signals Spurs mean business in terms of trying to do that. And I'm not an accountant. I don't wish to be Spurs' accountant. Exactly. I just want to see good players at my football club. You know what I mean? That's all it is. Also, like you said, it's 100 million depending on hitting certain targets. So those have to be hit. People remember Richarlison was 50, but we say 60 because it was with the add-ons included. So you look at our midfield now, and what has been lacking in seasons is, apart from Paulinho, is skill, is quality, is being able to be a ball player and have all these attributes in one player. And that is Tonali. Yeah, totally agree. And I know we need someone who's a bit better on the ball than Tonali alongside him. And, Spurs rumour to Mateus Fernandes, Spurs rumour to Adam Wharton. We'll see what progresses on that front. But on this front alone, it looks as though it's progressing in the right way. It really does.
Yep. And like I said to you when I was in the chat on your watch along yesterday, let's hope tomorrow. Tomorrow could be a big day.
It could be. Well, it's a big day already. It's a big day already.
It is.
But, in terms of Spurs meaning business, like how many times in the past have we seen, if we get a bid knocked back, we won't go in again. Van Hecker, 3 bids knocked back or 2 bid knocked back, straight away in with another bid. Tonali bid knocked back, straight away in with another bid. Spurs, I mean, this is unrecognisable, this Spurs, isn't it?
It is, and like you said, the Van Hecker deal, we look at how many bids have we gone in, and not just that, look how long the Kudus bid took, and how many bids did we have knocked back, and it was days on end or whatever. We've done this before. We got players where we've had a few bids rejected, but it was just the swiftness of getting it done. We all thought once the World Cup had started and that's it, it's done, it's wrapped up. He's a Spurs player. They are moving more aggressively than we've ever heard. The rumour mill is always the rumour mill with Spurs. Yeah. But they are attacking this aggressively. And I was talking to someone just now beforehand on WhatsApp, and it was like, do you know what? I thought Tonali was nonsense. But hearing we've actually slapped 75 million down has made me think, do you know what? They are actually trying to do this. So I think it gets done. I hope it gets done. Spurs fans can rejoice that we have landed a player of that quality, please God. But you never know with Spurs fans. That we'll find something. And I know there's a subject that we'll be discussing. But yeah, I just think what he brings to this football club, I can't remember. Not saying he's Modric, but Modric was probably the midfielder that when he was there had everything that we need at that time. And he will bring lacking qualities to Tottenham that Tottenham Hotspur have been missing greatly.
Yeah. So look, we just need to be a bit more patient on it. Hopefully this bid goes in tonight or tomorrow and we'll see it progress even further. But David Ornstein dropped a bit of a bombshell today on Lucas Bergvall. So let's talk about that. So David Ornstein said, Lucas Bergvall has informed Tottenham of his preference to seek a new challenge elsewhere. The 20-year-old midfielder targeted by clubs in the Premier League and in Europe. Tottenham aware of his wish to leave this summer for a fresh start, contracted until 2031. Matt Berry of The Standard says that Lucas Bergvall is frustrated with the lack of minutes in his preferred number 8 role and believes opportunities under Roberto De Zerbi will be too limited. Spurs are apparently looking for a fee of £40 million for Lucas Bergvall, and several clubs have contacted Spurs in regards to the midfielder. And Bobby Vincent says sources close to Chelsea have said that there is no interest in Lucas Bergvall from Chelsea. So hopefully that's true and we can breathe a sigh of relief and he won't be moving to Chelsea. But yeah, I mean, look, I see kind of both sides of this story with Lucas Bergvall. I think I can completely understand it from his perspective. He's looking round and he's seeing Spurs going for Tonali, Spurs going for Fernandes, already with a stockpile midfield. already he wasn't getting too many minutes under Roberto De Zerbi, the back end of seasons. He's thinking, well, where do I actually fit in now? How many minutes am I going to get? Is this going to stunt my development even further? Because I think he's had a terrible year for development because Thomas Frank just never played in his favourite position. And, under Ange, his trajectory was massive. He was unbelievable. And then since Frank came in, playing him here, there, and everywhere, apart from where he was doing best under Ange Postecoglou. So I can completely understand where Lucas Bergvall is coming from, and I completely understand his want to leave. I mean, not to say it's not going to hurt me. It's going to massively hurt seeing a talent like Lucas Bergvall leave the club. But at the end of the day, I can understand it. I really can, because his game time is going to be limited. For his development, he needs to be playing, and he needs to be playing regularly. I don't think he's going to get that at Tottenham. We're not building... I don't think we're that team that is just going to bring in youngsters now. We're trying to bring in players for the here and the now to make an impact. I don't think we have time to get players to develop and give them 90 minutes of football or starts of football. So as much as it's going to hurt me to see Lucas Bergvall leave, I do actually understand it.
I totally understand it. Obviously, this has caused another divide in the fan base with the player or whatever. And Frank did diminish his confidence, did play him out of position. But you know what? We have spent the best part of a decade buying potential, developing potential, and non-stop talking about potential. And hardly anything has come off.
Yeah.
Hardly anything. So this isn't just a Thomas Frank thing with Bergvall. This is a Tottenham's recruitment strategy over the last XYZ years. And when you see other big teams buying 4 first teamers, whether they walk in or squad, and then they pick a youngster or 2 up, we do it the opposite way, or have done. Yeah. And unfortunately, we have stockpiled youngsters. And the one thing I will say about Bergvall, and I was delighted with the sign, didn't know enough about him. I didn't think, but him and Gray got chucked in at the deep end because of horrible injury records and literally no depth in the squad. And it was right, you chucked in the deep end, sink or swim, and we'll do it. If we hadn't done this, I think Bergvall, if we'd only plucked a few youngsters here and there every year, I think Bergvall will be given more time. We've seen Bergvall was bought by Ange. How many players have we had that we bought as youngsters that when they reach their experience part, they've still got the same manager? No. It just don't happen. We're buying youth for managers that we know full well that aren't going to be there. And we've said for ages, we've had enough of youngsters. We need first team players in now that impact this squad already. And then we start doing that with the 3 players brought in, and hopefully Tonali, and hopefully Savinho, whoever comes in. And it's like, oh, no, not Bergvall. Bergvall's got he may have all the potential, but because of the way we've done business recently, we haven't got time to wait for all these to potentially come through. And if he needs to go, he needs to go. And Bergvall will command a bit of a fee.
40 million.
Like I said, Ben, this isn't even Bergvall's fault in my eyes. It's just De Zerbi has come in. It's clear De Zerbi wants players to build for Tottenham now, not be told, oh, wait a minute, use these, they'll be good in a few years. What he wants now, we can see the way Spurs are going, it's for players for now. And players are going to have to make weight on that. And if Bergvall is one of them, then so be it. I don't even know what his position is, mate.
For me, his best position is number 8. He's played his best for Spurs in number 8, which was under Ange. He's not a 10 in my opinion. I don't think he's been good in the 10. He's been shunted out on the wings even sometimes under Thomas Frank. He's not a wing. He's an 8. For me, he's an 8, and I think he's a very good 8, to be honest. But he's just not good as a Sandro Tonali,
exactly.
that we're to bring in. For me, I want to keep Lucas Bergvall at the football club. I think his ceiling is massive. I think he's kind of a big future in the game. But if he wants to go on and play regularly and play first team football, that's not going to be at Tottenham next season or even probably the season after. So he's going to have to go in search of minutes. If it was up to me, I'd probably try and convince him around and get him a loan or a 2-year loan to get him playing first team football. But he probably doesn't want a loan. He wants to go and make a name for himself somewhere and kickstart his career. So at the end of the day, it is what it is. There is another aspect to it as well, that we've done all these hard yards with the Lucas Bergvalls and the Archie Gray, one more season, and they're going to be club trained, and that's going to be valuable, really valuable to us when we get into Europe, hopefully next season. But what can we do on that aspect? Like if him and you know, there's a potential for this same thing to happen to Archie Gray at some point as well. We're going to be stuck in that position again with not many club trained players and having to leave players out of the squad.
Yeah, I mean, you're right about the club train thing, but you look at it, we're saying about if we potentially get into Europe, I think we don't reinvest or bring in players better than the quality of Gray and Bergvall or whatever, doesn't necessarily mean we're going to get Europe. After the two 17th positions, something is majorly wrong at our football club. I think we can all tell that whatever you feel, and something's not working, and you need to correct that, because we should never ever be anywhere near that, no matter what. And if we want a challenge for Europe, then we're going to need a European squad. And this is the issue. The club train part is a big part, and again, it goes down to recruitment again, Ben, doesn't it? And what we've had with the youth and not bringing them through. So again, it's a club error that they're trying, or not try, that it looks like they're trying to address. Let's put it that way. Whether they do, whether they will, we'll wait and see. But you've said it before, we said it before. No player is bigger than the shirt, the crest on the front of the shirt. And if someone had said to you and I or any Spurs fan before the window opened, you're going to get rid of Bergvall, but you'll get Tonali and Fernandes, for example, instead, I think every Spurs fan would go, done deal.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, the same for Luka Vuskovic as well. And if you get a combined 90 million or, you know, close to that figure for Lucas Bergvall and Luka Vuskovic, yes, you know, we could be looking back in 2-3 years' time being like, what the fuck were we doing? How did we let these guys go? But also, you got to remember when we do look back at it in 2-3 years' time, it's like, well, they wanted first team football in those 2-3 years' time, and they weren't ready for first team football. We had better players at that moment in time. So sometimes things just don't align in the way that you want them to align. So look, it hurts me. It hurts me that we're going to be letting go of Vuskovic and Lucas Bergvall. But I think it will soften the blow just a little bit, bringing in the likes of Tonali, Van Hecke, and potentially a Fernandes or Wharton or something like that. Like, Spurs will move forward without Lucas Bergvall and Luka Vuskovic if we, you know, recruit right. And it looks like we are recruiting right and paying big money to do so. So he'll go with a heavy heart, but I can completely understand it.
Yeah, I mean, I'll also say as well, you look at how bloated this squad is with youngsters, with players that aren't good enough. Always reminds me to an interview Harry Redknapp did when we had Bales and all this, and he said, with such a big squad and competitive squad, how are you keeping everyone happy? And he turned around and literally said, it's not my job to keep them happy. It's their job to make me happy. So obviously they're doing well, they get in the team. And that's what we need again. We need 22 players or whatever you want to name on a match day, the 8-9 subs, and the 11 players are all making him happy. They're all absolutely running their heart out for the club, desire, passion, commitment, competition. And do you know what? But players like Bergvall and Vuskovic making these demands, or it's Vuskovic apparently, if you had so much confidence in yourself, you'd stay and fight. You'd be like, I believe in myself. I'm this good. All right, you don't want to play me? I'll make you play me or pick me.
Yeah.
But they need.
I do get that, Brian. I do get that, and I think that would have been in his mind. But then he's looking at the news and he's like, "Oh, Tonali's coming in. Fernandes is coming in January. They just spent 40 million on Conor Gallagher. So maybe he's thinking about De Zerbi and the club being like, do they actually value me? You know what I mean? Because they keep signing players in my position."
Yeah, and you know what? Those players at the moment, I have a lot more faith in than I do Bergvall. Ask me that again in 3-4 years, it could be a completely different question. But like we said, De Zerbi wants for now. And I just don't see him getting game time. So why have him on the bench when we can get somebody in and hopefully reinvest in the football club and see where we go? If we get Champions League...
question from the club of why have him on the bench. I think the club would like to have him on the bench. It's about him not wanting to sit on the bench for his development.
Then fair play to him. Go out, do what you're doing. Like I said, Spurs will move on. But I just think even if it was De Zerbi that said, you're not going to figure I want first team players right here, right now, fine with it.
Agreed. I think De Zerbi clearly knows what he wants, doesn't he? And he's definitely letting the club know, and the club are acting upon it. So
yes,
happy days, you know.
Exactly.
All we've ever wanted is for the club to act on the manager's wishes, and it feels like we're doing that.
Can I get an amen? But yeah, this is the thing. We have all wanted this. We have all wanted to be mixing it with the big boys and going for these kind of players and say, oh, why don't we bring in this? And at the moment they're trying, and I give them credit for trying, but you've got to get that over the line. Trying will only push you too far.
Of course. Let's move on. Let's talk about Savinho, because it's gone a bit quiet on the Savinho front, but Spurs Jono on X does tell us that Spurs have been faffing around with add-ons for the transfer of Savinho. However, the transfer is believed to have been formalised a while ago, so he's suggesting that this deal is pretty much done. Nothing to worry about here. No other clubs going for him anyway, and it's just a few add-ons to iron out. And there was a suggestion from SZY on social media as well that said that due to some financial implications, this deal is probably not going to get done till just after July, because there's some sort of financial deadlines or something on the 1st of July, and it's going to work out a bit cheaper for us if we do it after then. So, Savinho is going to get done. It's just a matter of time.
Yeah, but I think these rules are, the PSR rules, like when everyone was trying to shift off players like the Chelsea and Villa, and they were doing those youngsters for whatever money. They've got to balance the books for PSR or FFP, one of the two. And then July the 1st, it becomes like the fresh new, like a new tax year, but the year, for whatever it is. I wish we'd done this story before, where we're really trying to go for this. We should have done this before Bergvall. We're going for it. For Spurs, I'd say, Spurs faffing around. Mate, what a word that is, faffing around. I think this one has gone quiet, which worried fans, obviously, because it was all red hot and then it's gone. I still want another winger ahead of him, or with him, shall I say, with him. But I think this one, like you said, I think what you said, I think next week this gets done and there's a player in the door. Is he the starting left winger for me if I was making the calls? I'd want someone with a bit more better delivery and output, but he can grow into that. So we'll see, but it'll be a good signing.
I'm watching Somerville play right now, the 2 games for the Netherlands and the back end of the season for West Ham. I'm saying go get him, man.
He looked. I was watching the game. Like I said, I was watching the game whilst listening to you on commentary yesterday, and he did look very good. He did look very good.
Go get Somerville and Savinho. I'll be happy with that.
He. Mate, can you imagine? We go to West Ham and we take Fernandes and Somerville and Kudus the year before. Bloody hell! But I will say Somerville looked electric in the second. Again, he's got to do it more often. But if that was his regular. My God, what a player he will be. But Savinho,
he came in the second half and straight away made a massive impact.
Yeah, Savinho's kind of the same, isn't he? He's comes on, he can be electric, or he can be like, is he even on the pitch? But this is one we know we've wanted for a couple of years, whether it's club signing or not. Brilliant technical ability. Output and delivery needs a bit to be desired. But then you've got Robertson running down the side of him, so that compensates that. But we'll see. An exciting player. But I would want a more a guy with guaranteed output and an assist to come ahead of him.
Well, a guy that might have guaranteed output for you is Cody Gakpo of Liverpool. A journalist not most reliable, Nico Shearer, says De Zerbi wants to sign Gakpo for Tottenham. Tottenham are preparing a strong bid for the Dutch winger and have already opened talks with Liverpool. They are offering Gakpo a contract till 2031 and a key role in Roberto De Zerbi's project. I mean, at this point, we may as well just sign the whole Dutch team. Mickey van Ven, Van Hecker, Somerville, Javi Simmons, Cody Gakpo, anyone else that we can get from the Dutch national team.
Bruggen, isn't there?
But Bruggen as well been linked, but I think that's gone a bit quiet. Yeah. But I mean, Cody Gakpo scored a couple of goals yesterday for the Netherlands as well. How do you feel about him?
I'm so 50-50 with him. I really am. The reason is, even Simeon said yesterday in the watch long, I can see why the Liverpool fans don't like, because he's so... And then he comes alive in the second half and does what he does.
He gets you goals, though. He does get you goals.
He does get us goals. He would get you goals. And I remember that, was it 7-0 or 7-1 that they trounced United a few years ago? He was unstoppable. There again, where when he is like at the top, then he could be a handful. But there's a lot of times where he's not. But saying that, he is head and shoulders above everything we got.
Yeah.
Yours and my number one choice is Guirassy, isn't it? I'd still rather Guirassy over him, even with the age of Guirassy.
On the wing.
Which wing does he play for? Is it left or right?
Left, yeah.
But
He plays both. He's a left winger and a striker. He does both.
Yeah, I mean the versatility offers that. I think he's hot and cold, and I keep going hot and cold on this selection. But like I said, if he did come, he will be. I mean, I can't remember the last striker we would have bought, obviously because of Kane and whatever, that would have been to his level. But certainly, I think he's better than Solanke and Richarlison put together. It's whether he sees him as a striker or the winger, doesn't it? As a predominantly. Well, where are you on it, Ben?
I like Cody Gakpo. I agree with Sim what he was saying yesterday. He can be a very frustrating player, but I think what I've been crying out for is guaranteed goal contribution. Someone that we know that can get you a minimum of 10 goals or 5 assists, whatever it may be. And I think Cody Gakpo has proved that for Liverpool. I think he's a player that, maybe we'll sign him for the short term and we'll look to move him on in a couple of years' time. Like to have him alongside of Savinho or to have him alongside of Somerville, I think represents, good squad depth. So I'd be up for it, but I don't think he's a player that we should overspend on or we should spend big money on. If he's available for a decent price, I'll do it.
Put it this way, would you rather if you had the choice that we got a Gakpo or an out-and-out striker, forget another left winger, but if it was a left winger / striker for Gakpo or a guaranteed striker for a Garassi, a Vuskovic, but you and I are Garassi people, where are you leaning?
Striker for sure. I think we need to get this striker position right this summer. Charlison's probably going to go. If we can get a Garassi or maybe someone else, I'm not sure who, but we need to make sure we get this number 9 position absolutely spot on. And with our newfound wealth and newfound spending ability, I wouldn't say newfound wealth, but newfound spending ability, let's go test the waters for Victor Osimhen, man. Why not?
The only thing that I get with that is we're talking about big wages for Tonali. I don't think that even brings him to the table. I don't even think the rumours of what he's been on here, there, and everywhere. I mean, that would be. I haven't even mentioned him because I just think it's wildly unrealistic because of the wages. I don't know what kind of fee he'd demand, but seeing him in the Premier League and in a lily white shirt would be a dream come true. But I think you'd have to come up with a brand new lower than low thing on your rumour mill on this window to the. There'd have to be freezing cold or something because I don't think he comes to the table because of the wages. But yeah, the striker has got to be done. And Gakpo, like you said, he could be the yesterday showed him in the 2 halves, didn't he? He can either be really frustrated or he'll go grab you 2 goals.
Be open to it. I'll definitely be open to it, but I think there are other players who are probably one over him. Yeah. One that has just come up about Mateus Fernandes of West Ham. Nico Shearer, again, not the greatest source, but says exclusive. Tottenham are ready to offer 17 million to West Ham to try and sign Mateus Fernandes, who is a target of Manchester United and Real Madrid. Race ongoing. I mean, Spurs continuing to put their balls on the table. I mean, I don't know how reliable this is, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's true.
Well, yeah, I mean, look, the only thing that's getting me with this transfer, I do like this player. I think he's very, very technical. I think there's clearly a great player busting to come out. I think sky is the limit for him. I just do not understand this £70 million price tag. It blows my mind.
How much? Well, actually, West Ham want 85 million.
Yeah, it's if West Ham have been in the Premiership, obviously that commands Premier League money kind of thing. I understand they're probably wanting a bit more because if it's us, but West Ham are in a bit of financial pickle themselves. This fee.
How much he's worth?
Obviously, I mean, if you would have got a 21-year-old chap, when has a player ever gone for 80 million or around this kind of money in the Championship? 21-year-old couple, 55, 50 in today's kind of.
Would you complain if we get him over the line?
No, I mean it's not my money. I don't give it. I just think it's wild that in today's football we're talking for a Championship player that kind of money.
I mean, he's a Championship player that hasn't played a Championship game, so you know what I mean. He's still a Premier League player.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I meant a Championship club, not a Championship player. Championship club. My bad. That's what I meant. Championship club. I just think the fee. I mean, it's modern day football. Like I said, it's not my money. I can give them monkeys. But we're talking about overpaying on Tonali, paying 80 million for this sort of talent at 21 years old. To me, is madness. But like I said, it's not my money. Go spend it.
Yeah, exactly. I don't care. I don't care. Just put the money down, get top quality players in, and hopefully Spurs can live to fight another day next season. But look, that is your Tottenham update for today. I'm sure later on this evening there's going to be more stuff that's coming out, so we'll bring it to you here first on We Are Tottenham TV. Everyone, do go and subscribe to Tottenham on Tour once again, and big up to Brian Daigle, and everyone. Do go wish him a happy birthday and anniversary for tomorrow as well. Not today. I think it's every day seems to be Brian Daigle's birthday on YouTube, but actually it is tomorrow.
Yes,
it is tomorrow. People.
It is tomorrow, and my 12th wedding anniversary and my 47th birthday, the 22nd of June. So I'm doing late night Lily White tonight, starting at 9 p.m. my time, but it'll already be over midnight in England, so it'll be my birthday, and I'm going to go right through to at least my birthday here. So it's going to be a good evening, and thank you, Ben, brother. Thank you.
No problem at all. We'll see you guys very soon. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. Like, subscribe, and comment. And as always, come on, you Spurs.